Okay, so we're doing a personality feature today. We have a young girl to show, Orylan, I think is her name. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's the one thing I didn't see from the interview that I watched with her. I was asked almost a year ago to do this one, and I was like, well, I don't know anything about this person. So I took some time on a day off and put it on in the background. An interview that she did on the YouTube channel Soft White Underbelly, I think it's called.
Okay.
It's like interviews with different people supposedly examining the human condition.
Cool.
I was not really a fan of that interview, but I'll get into that later. So we have tattooed eyes, many face tattoos, all kinds of butterflies, and a mishmash of tattoos all over the place. What do you think?
I've never seen her before.
You've never seen her before?
No. This is the first time I think I've seen her, and I'm familiar with a lot of like tattooed models that are out there, just because
Split tongue, obviously. Yeah. Tattooed tongue too.
I like to follow these people quite often. It looks like she's got her teeth modified as well.
Yeah, she's got fangs and then some jewelry on her teeth.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, one thing that I found funny in the interview that I watched with her was one of her face tattoos she had done, so more or less on a whim. It was like, I just want a tattoo on my face. I don't care what it is. That was one of the wildest things I've ever heard.
Crazy.
Like, I've heard of people liking getting tattooed, and God knows I do. But like, I don't know about walking in blind on a face tattoo. That was one of the only things that really threw me. From what I heard in that interview, was like, you really just walked in and got a sword on your face, and
How was that?
that was that. Like,
I can't even imagine. She's got a pretty wild, like, face look. I mean, like, her tattoos aren't crazy generally anyways. She's got a huge butterfly.
So the butterflies came up in the interview. I think the butterflies are all right. They could have been done better, especially given that it was on her face. Now, with that said, she got into why she has so many butterflies, and she's going to have them all over the place. So there will be butterflies incorporated everywhere. I don't know how long all of these will stay. I think that there'll be a lot more black work in the future because, like, by the way she sounds, she just likes getting tattooed a lot.
She seems like she likes getting tattooed.
With that said, I think there'll probably always be some butterflies, because she was explaining that the butterflies are significant to her because butterflies are really ugly on the inside and pretty on the outside, and she's trying to be the reverse of that. She believes her look is evil or monstrous in her own words, but she's a nice person on the inside.
Oh, I understand that.
Right? Like, that's kind of what she was communicating. And I'm not trying to put words in her mouth. That's more or less what she said.
That's something that I always joke about. I'm dark and scary, and then I'm like the nicest, bubbliest human being ever. No, but my aesthetic, right?
You're sweet as candy.
Yeah.
So I found that particularly interesting because I don't actually think that this looks like scary, but I guess I could see. Apparently, because she works as a stripper and does OnlyFans.
Oh, cool.
She said that she probably makes more money on her OnlyFans, but apparently she has to put quite a lot of makeup on over her tattoos on her face. And people just think that her eyes are contact lenses. But apparently you can't strip with face tattoos where she's from.
Oh!
Which is insane to me, because you would think that would be a liberal profession to be in.
Interesting.
I guess it must upset the upstanding client base that comes to see her.
I'm trying to think. So I follow a few strippers on the internet from the States, and I have a few friends in Canada who are strippers. And I would say basically none of them have face tattoos. A lot of them are heavily tattooed, but I don't... modified, but I can't think of any.
I would think that would make her more of an attraction. Like, it certainly would on OnlyFans. Like, I have people asking me for OnlyFans.
I find it really surprising that that would be a thing that they wouldn't allow.
Yeah, that's absurd. If anything, you would think that they would be almost not promoting it, but at least encouraging that, because it makes you more of a special attraction.
Right.
And people like weird stuff, right?
Yeah, and
You wouldn't believe how many people want pictures of my feet.
the thing is, though, is
It's unreal.
contrary to what she thinks, she is quite the pretty girl.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see the before. There's
Yeah.
no way around it, right?
Yeah.
She's going to be pretty no matter what she does.
Exactly, and now she's pretty and unique, and she's hitting a niche.
Well, and that was another thing that she was talking about, was that she does not want to look like anyone that you would meet on the street. She wants to look different. So, but in that interview, and I'm not going to try and make this all about the guy interviewing her, but he was the way he was phrasing certain questions was almost like predatory in my opinion, where it was like almost like, oh, you had to have trauma to look like this.
I don't
Like
think
every
that.
question was started from that kind of like, well, what happened to you when you were growing up? Oh, what caused this? What? And he was like almost like baiting her to make a case that body mods are related to that. And I'm not saying that they never are.
Well,
But if he
probably-
had have interviewed me that way, I would have took his head off with those questions.
Probably partially has to do with her profession too, because people like to imply that.
Oh,
you
it
only
was
want-
all about the look.
Yeah. Well, no, but like I also find that quite
There are
often,
plenty of blonde, regular looking women out there that wouldn't get those questions that are in that same field.
I always feel like people want to imply that when you strip or have OnlyFans that you have trauma as well. When I think it's just being a just strong female character and using your body the way you want.
Well, I don't think that that's really what she's up to either, though. She doesn't like it. She's not a fan of doing that work. She doesn't like doing it. She's not sure what she's going to do. She says she's saving as much money as she can to be able to get out of it in not too long.
Interesting.
She's making good money right now, but it does not make her happy, and she's not an overly sexual being either. It's like taking advantage of what you've got, but I don't think she takes joy in being fondled and groped and treated like an object by. But you know what? You're making your living through that too, so it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah.
Another thing was, some of the things that people ask her to do are completely ridiculous on OnlyFans. But I mean, I would expect the same thing if I was to go on OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, I'm
You
sure
know what I mean?
people ask you strange questions all the time. I'm sure she gets even weirder ones.
This fits the bill for what happens sometimes. She said that she got seriously into like the more body mod aspects of tattooing and stuff after her and her older boyfriend split up. He didn't like her getting tattooed, and I guess he had her have his name tattooed on her,
Oh, that's awful.
like almost like owning her. And then I guess when they split up, she wanted to reclaim her body with this. And
Right.
I hear those stories all the time. So for her, it's a powerful thing to modify herself and kind of create herself.
Well, probably also in her profession too. I mean, you're saying that she's expressed that she doesn't love it, and this is kind of like a giant fuck you to a lot of that industry's typical beauty standards. Because I know, like, we see a lot of modified girls, but I don't know that this is like a normal thing.
I mean, it's probably going to be more and more common, like realistically.
Yeah, no, you're probably right, but like, it's crazy because like I'm shuffling through these pictures and her face is getting more and more tattooed too.
She says she's done with her face in that interview, but I think she's done more to it since that interview. With that said, I could be wrong on that, by the way. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't think that that's true. I think it's an astounding amount of work in a short amount of time to assume that you're going to stop now when you can be the same person that goes in and says, I don't care what you tattoo on my face.
Yes, no, exactly, and I mean, she's got a lot of other places that she could be tattooing, so yeah, she must like
You could
the face
fit
tattoos.
the sum of her work on a back piece for the most part.
Right.
But it's all spread out all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be rude either.
No,
That's
no,
just,
me neither.
It's a statement.
I think she's pretty courageous too, because she has her eyes done, and I think that's pretty risky. And
It can be, for sure. But if you go to someone who's doing it well, I think your risk factors are low for now, but we haven't been doing it long enough to know, I
Yeah.
think, long term.
it feels like the last frontier of the face tattoo as well, because like people have them, but it's not commonplace. Like I feel like almost
think
everybody has some sort of face
I'm
tattoo.
seeing them
these
more and
days,
more, but I mean, you don't see it like walking down the road.
but-
Yeah, she said she didn't really recognize her as herself until she had the tattooed eyes.
Interesting.
Like she didn't like looking at the person she was before. There's all kinds of things in there that made me feel. The interview overall gave me a very sad feeling, even though there was no sadness in there. It just felt heavy.
Yeah.
And then the predatory questions about why someone would do this to themselves didn't help matters either.
Well, it's even that sentence. Why would you do this to yourself?
Yeah, like you
right?
couldn't, like this couldn't possibly be a positive.
Right.
It has to be a negative. We're not asking people who are getting breast implants and
Yeah, why
nose
would
jobs
you do that
and
to
shit.
yourself?
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, we're out giving them like high fives. Hey, good job! You got your boobs done.
If you
right?
want to do everything in your power to look like everyone else, we'll give you a fucking high five. But if you want to go and do something that's not that, that's the same amount of work, really, or
Right.
less, maybe.
Well, and this makes her feel herself. Like she feels like her like this, then that's good for her, right? Keep going. I hope one day you completely feel like yourself. I mean, I don't know that anybody will ever feel completely like themselves.
I mean,
that's life.
my only
It's like
issue
an
is
adventure that way.
like the way that this is going now. It's ramping up almost too fast, right? Where like I have no problem with any of what's happened. It's just I struggle to see where it goes from here. That isn't, going to be more, on the face or whatever else.
you want to see it like connected. You don't like.
I would
the
rather see the
disjointedness of
whole
the suit.
thing kind of come together.
Yeah.
Rather than keep going with the chaos. Like, we need to find direction is my only thing, because I feel like when you have this, you have to recognize it in yourself. Like, this person likes the journey, the tattoo experience, like the whole body mod culture. Just need to find the direction to channel it in now so that it doesn't create a complete mess of you.
Yeah.
Because it can. It's the same thing. Like, I've set some hard rules for myself, and I never went away from them. Like, still, people are telling me all the time, just cover your face, just finish it. You wouldn't believe how much pressure there is to do that.
I know.
It's unreal how much pressure there is to do that. And I feel like it's very easy to get there if you don't have some firm boundaries. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, but it is if you don't want to do it and you end up doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would just be wary of external pressures that can push you into directions you don't want to be in with this.
Right.
But overall, I don't hate this. I didn't understand the butterflies. I was weird on the butterflies, but then when I did listen to the interview, they made a bit more sense to me. That being said, I feel like they're all too fucking small.
Yeah.
And if I was critiquing just the quality of the tattoo work like I usually do, I would say just do one big butterfly on your chest. And the butterfly on the head is a little lopsided for my taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the butterfly symbolism, right? Like butterflies, ugly caterpillar, you go into a cocoon, they turn into, beautiful butterfly. It's definitely something really interesting. It's cool symbolism. I agree. Big butterfly across the chest would have been fun. I like the butterfly forehead, and I like that it's not the
I don't
direction.
hate it. It's a little light. I think she could maybe touch it up, but
she puts makeup on it and stuff, though it's gonna definitely lighten pretty quick, I bet. But it's not the direction that I would have expected it to be. like if I was thinking of tattooing a butterfly to my forehead, I would have instantly thought of doing it the other direction.
Well, I mean, this is the thing, right? Subvert your expectations.
Yeah, but I like it. Yeah, I think she's got like a really cool aesthetic. I wish that I had watched that interview.
The whole thing, it feels very sad, and I hated the interviewer.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to yell at that guy.
Is that the only interview that this person
That's
has
the
done?
only thing that I've seen. I'm sure I could find more.
I hope someone
but
reaches out and maybe that they
it felt perverse.
something
Almost
that
like
doesn't feel that way. Yeah.
he had an argument that he was trying to make, and she was there to be his argument. You know what I mean? Like, he was almost trying to make her look stupid or unaware of herself, or like that body mod can only possibly be the result of a bad childhood or no love or self-hatred or so. It was just really like gross.
Yeah.
It felt gross.
Yeah,
Like
that's unfair.
I felt sad.
He came in with a really bad bias.
Yeah, I felt sad watching it, and I felt disgusted by the interviewer. So, not a big fan of that one. If anyone's watched it, you can let me know your thoughts on it. But I got bad vibes from that, and I get good vibes from her. I just think that she needs to channel this and harness it and put it in the direction that she can have it work for her instead of being worked by it, which is very, very easy to happen.